No worries. At least you don't have to take minutes again. We are good? Yeah. All right, would everyone make sure they turn on their microphones? This calls to order the Monday, June 26, 2023 Planning Commission. First item of business is item 1, review of the minutes from the meeting held on April 24th, 2023. Are there any discussion, or would someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as is.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Motion passes. Next item of business is item 2, old business. There is none. Moving on, item 3, new business. Item A, site plan for 2706 West 53rd Street, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Matt Varley of Buck Roofing on behalf of GRI Fairway LLC property owner. Requests for roof replacement. Basil, will you please provide your staff report?
Yes, Chair. I'll have my report as submitted, and I'm open to any questions. Staff does recommend approval of the new roof material.
I guess my question, the pictures provided, is half of it existing and half of it's new?
That's right. So
Okay.
he was trying to do a rendering. That's what we asked him to do. And I think the applicant is here. I think he has samples of the roofing material.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Basil before we talk with the applicant?
No.
There's no requirements that all the roofs match, is there? I mean, the one that's there now that on the grocery store, these new roofs, it's not a requirement that they match?
No.
Will the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please?
Matt Varley, Buck Roofing. Address is 1122 Merriam Lane, Kansas City, Kansas.
Can you walk us through maybe what you're proposing with the photos or the renderings?
We are replacing all the existing wood shake shingles to the right there. We'll be demoing all those, putting new decking down, and then new synthetic slate look material.
And this will be just the shops to the previous question. It won't include the grocery store, is that correct?
That's correct.
Are there other questions for the applicant?
Did you have a sample?
Yes, I do.
Could you hold it up? It's going to be quite a bit darker than the, whatever kind of tile roof that's there now?
Yes, this will be, it's a smoky gray color.
Oh, it's a slate look
Yes, it's
tile?
a slate look tile. It's a synthetic plastic tile.
What's the life expectancy on something like that?
20 to 30 years?
Oh, really? It's not even as good as a 50-year roof?
No, it's not.
Why did they pick something like that rather than a longer term? Trying to get the look of it?
And the look, and they didn't want to go back with concrete tile. They want to do a synthetic product.
Is this a lot less expensive than the concrete tile?
It's actually more expensive. I believe it'll be a similar look to the bank that's across the street.
Can I look at the tile?
Yeah. And all the tiles will be the same width, and they will be straight course, so it won't be like a shake look or anything like that. It'll look like a slate roof.
And this only has a 20-year life expectancy?
20 to 30, yes.
20 to 30. Does it require any kind of special underlayment like the...
No, it's not.
Do you want me to pass it down?
Real quick, have you guys already started this work, or has it been done on some portions of the shops?
We have not started the work, and I do not believe any other sections of the shop have it on there.
Are the requirements for ice and water shield the same on that type of a roof as it would be on a composition roof?
Yes, it is. The exact same. code applies to it.
I'm just kind of surprised the owners would pick a shorter longevity roof. Are they just going for the look, or they thinking?
I believe it's the slate look that they're going for, yes.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question for city staff. It looks like a recent photo, this has been updated on the hen house. Was that under like has that already been previously approved, this material, by another planning commission possibly? Is there some precedence?
That update, I think, was maybe between 5 to 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was before I was on the commission. I don't know if you were.
Because I'm looking at the Google Maps at hen house right now, and it's the new top. The photo that we have, 2016.
Yeah, the hen house is existing.
Okay.
But it's a newer material.
Okay.
Other discussion or questions?
I guess I'm just kind of puzzled. I mean, the look, it's probably going to look great, but to pick something that has a shorter lifespan than a basic 50-year composition shingle, it's more expensive than what's on there. It kind of baffles me, unless they're going to sell it in the next few years. But I guess we don't have much to say about that.
I don't.
Make a motion to approve the roofing material for use at 2706 West 53rd Street.
I'd second it.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next item of business is item B, site plan for 5827 Reinhardt Drive, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Carissa Young of ADT Solar on behalf of Eric Schneider, property owner, request for new solar panels. Basil, will you please provide your staff report?
And again, I'll let my report stand as submitted, and staff recommends approval. I'm open to questions.
Any questions for staff? Is the applicant here? Could you please come up and state your name and address for the record? I have a few questions for you.
Kurt Osborne, ADT Solar,
And your address?
Belgium Boulevard in Riverside,
Okay.
Missouri.
I noticed that on some of the panels, you just have one attachment point for the racking. There's quite a length of panel that's cantilevered past the racking support point. Maybe if you scroll down to the next drawing, right there. So some of those panels running vertically have two attachment points, but it's unconventional. Typically you see like two side by side, and there's two up and down. Are the panels able to span vertically and horizontally?
Yeah, as far as orientation, it doesn't matter which way you install them.
Okay. And is there a minimum attachment points required?
Well, each panel will have 4 attachment points. That's designed to withstand 150 mile per hour wind load.
So the red dots are the racking attachment points then?
I believe the red dots in that are actually the roof anchors that you're seeing, not the actual anchor points to the panels themselves.
Okay. That's what I was wanting to clarify.
Yes.
So for the actual like racking attachment to the roof, I think it specifies what, a 2-inch embedment depth into the framing member underneath the roof.
Yeah, it's actually a 4-inch lag bolt. so that won't penetrate through the roof deck into the joist.
Sure. So like, how do you handle it if, as you go into that, you find out that that member is compromised somehow, that it wouldn't hold it?
It's unlikely to happen on this. This house is 5 years old, actually less than that, I think, 3 years old.
Okay.
So these are truss-built systems, so they should be perfectly fine.
What kind of an energy savings could these folks appreciate on this?
Yeah, so that system is going to produce close to 15,000 kilowatt hours, which is about $2,500 worth of power each year. So over the next 25 years, they're looking at probably close to $70,000, $80,000 in savings.
Will this system last 25 years?
Everything we do is warranted 25 years, so we use top-of-the-line components to ensure 25-year warranty life, but they're predicted to last 40 to 50 years.
What's the estimated payback?
How do you mean?
Well, how the energy saved over the cost to put it on?
Yeah, they'll have their cash back. Typically, that's 10 to 12 years, depending on how it's financed, roof orientation, all that stuff. So it'll pay for itself probably 6 to 10 times over the lifespan of the system in terms of dollar value.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion or someone want to make a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve the plans as submitted and with the staff recommendations for 5827 Reinhardt Drive for the application of a new solar panel system.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item is item C, site plan for 5507 Falmouth Road, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Megan Hale of Astrowatt Solar on behalf of Benjamin Skidmore, property owner, request for new solar panels. Basil?
Again, I'll let the report stand for as submitted, and I'm open to any questions.
Any questions for staff or the applicant?
Yes. Same question.
Is the applicant here?
Yeah, but Reed Hens with Astronaut Solar.
Will you state that for in the microphone?
Reed Hens with Astronaut Solar, 11 East 78th Street, Casey. As for, I can't remember what you asked.
Basically
Member.
concerned about the actual member strength underneath the roof if you ran into one that was, damaged somehow.
I mean, typically it's addressed. Every single site analysis, there's someone who goes into the attic and measures every single rafter. I mean, we get structural improvements and stamps for everything too. We have to pass that along to you guys too. So
Gotcha.
it's addressed if it needs to be addressed.
Okay, so someone got into the roof to go look at it at this house?
Yep.
Fair enough.
And if I may, we did request an engineer report, and when we got that, and that's attached in the report,
Sure.
that no modification is required.
Okay.
So
Cool.
somebody did that already.
Sounds good.
And how many attachments per panel to the racking system?
So there's 4 attachments to the actual racking, and then there's, depending on the length of the panel, it's usually in between 2 or 3 panels. There's an actual footing that goes into the roof. So if it's vertical or landscape, there's 2 racks that go across, and then there's 4 points that are attached to that.
And again, Chair, per the engineer report, he's saying it's 1.34.
I did see that, yeah.
attachment.
Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. I don't get structural calcs very often, so I get excited.
So I guess I did have a question on access to the solar panels. So the previous design, I just had a little more roof space, but this one, the panels butt right up against the edge of the roof. So I can see getting to maybe the edge panels from a ladder, but how do you get to the ones more interior?
It's not, I wouldn't say tedious work,
Sure.
but it is a step-by-step process.
Okay, so you're dismantling all the other panels to access them, or
This one's a little bit easier than like, you know, a big square one with 6x6 or something like that. So, I mean, you can go to 1 or 2 panels and access whatever you may need. But
Okay.
yeah, it's unfortunately a common thing to service these.
Sure.
It's just part of the gig.
Fair enough.
Any other questions?
Are your panels better than the last guys?
I'm very familiar with them. I plead the fifth. I will just be nice.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So any comments, discussion, or someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the solar installation at 5507 Falmouth Street.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item is public hearing and site plan for 4222 Brookridge Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Chrissy Spikowski, property owner for Sports Court. Before we open the public hearing, Basil, do you have anything to add to your staff report?
Not really. We did have a discussion, and the applicant did compromise because the original submittal was they were putting it in the floodplain, and now they removed it out of the floodplain. So that's been cleared with the applicant. And as far as the requirement for green space, they're still below. The required is 69%, and with the sports court, they're gonna have 76% green space.
So the dimensions provided in the packet, are those consistent with the new location, or are those the old location?
Yes, that's with the new location.
Okay.
The original location was on this side. And
The floodplain does go about a third of the property to the east side.
but the new location is totally out on the floodplain.
Any other questions for staff?
Did we get any other plans to kind of understand what this is, other than this marked up, looks like county drawing?
No, just the plot plan is all that we received. But Ms. Spikowski's here. I'm assuming my understanding is it's a basketball court, and so she can probably address the material a little better than I could.
Do you want to, is the applicant, would you like to please come up and state your name and address for the record?
Hi, Chrissy Spikowski, 4222 Brookridge Drive.
So I was just trying to understand, I guess, is this initial application you're going to give and then some follow-up with plans? I saw that you recommended if it's approved, you would need a full set of plans.
Yes, staff is not opposed to
Okay.
the application.
Okay. Is there any plans for like lighting or?
No.
Okay, so strictly just surface?
It is strictly just a piece of concrete
Okay.
in our backyard that's 40 by 30 to put a basketball goal so my kids can play in the backyard on a
Nice.
basketball goal. Because the way that our driveway is it's slanted. And so if someone passes a ball and it misses the pass, then it goes in the street. And our street, even though it isn't considered a cut-through street, it has a lot of traffic that goes through it. So it's a huge safety issue for me.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, is there any other questions for the applicant? Okay. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and then after that, we can have discussion.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that she addressed for the public hearing, she had her statement in the packet as well.
Do we need to read that, or? Okay. All right. This calls to order the public hearing for 4222 Brookridge Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Chrissy Spikowski, property owner for Sports Court. Is there anyone here to speak? All right. All right. This closes the public hearing. Any discussion?
Looks good to me.
I agree.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the plans as submitted for 4222 Brook Ridge, the addition of a concrete basketball court in the backyard. Do I need to say something about the special use permit, or?
You can say it for the record, just to be clear.
We approve the special use permit.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item is item E, site plan for 5915 Buena Vista, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Caleb George on behalf of Chris George Homes, property owner, for a new single-family home. Basil, will you please provide your staff report?
Yes, the application is for a new house. The height of the structure will be 27 feet 3 inches from the existing grade. Watershed analysis, it's going to increase from 23% to 35.2%, and an infiltration trench is proposed to reduce the discharge. So the project meets all the requirements. There is a right-of-way tree that the applicant needs to submit an application for removal of that tree, and it does not, it's only through Public Works Director for approval. And he needs to modify or keep the north driveway in the same location, because the proposed does affect 2 right-of-way trees.
So it need to be narrower?
If he removes one of the trees, which is in the center of the lot, then he can shift or keep that one side of the driveway in the same location, and that would be fine as far as the other tree. So staff recommends approval pending the approval of the right-of-way tree removal. He did apply for a demo permit, and it's still on hold until the right-of-way tree issue is resolved.
And the green space requirement for this property is 65%? Or 60%?
60%.
So we have 4.8% to work with.
Yeah, they have less than 20 square feet.
Okay. Any other questions for Basil?
And they even have a patio now.
Yeah, there's a patio.
Or is there questions for the applicant?
I'd make a motion that we approve the plans as submitted and with the staff recommendations for a new house at 5915 Buena Vista.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next item of business is site plan for 5443 Pawnee Lane, Fairway, Kansas, as submitted by Robin Sterling of RPS Services LLC, property owner, for new single-family home. Basil, will you provide the staff report?
Then the applicant submitted a request for a new single-family residence. The plans show the height of the structure is 28 feet and 1 1/4 inch from the existing grade of 912 feet. The watershed analysis shows that proposed hardscapes is increasing from 21% to 36%, which would increase the runoff at the front of the property. And as per the analysis, detention is not required. We do have one issue regarding the window and door percentages. We reached out to the applicant. They revised the one side, and they meet that requirement of 15%. The other side is still not in requirement. So we did put in the report that they're seeking an exception for that.
But the other side is 14.85. Is that what you're referring to?
Almost.
So theoretically 15 if you round it? Any questions for staff? I guess what's the percentage for the,
And I'll just add one thing, talking to the applicant, I mean, they are proposing to meet that requirement with either real windows or decorative. But we did not get that submittal in time.
so the 8.1% went to what, just greater than 15?
Let me see that. Yes, so the 8.1 needs to go to 15%.
But with the proposed layout, it exceeds 15 now?
We have not received that.
I see.
We
Okay.
received the one side that is at 14.85, and that's the revised side.
But this,
And I think.
this,
that-
right?
Yes, that's the.
Are those proposed?
So, yeah, that's the proposed, the darkened
And so it will
side.
exceed 15?
That's right at 15.
Okay.
Is that proposed windows, or is that just proposed?
That's proposed windows.
It's
But
not
on
just
the
a-
other side, they may propose decorative windows. The applicant is here to clarify that.
Any other questions?
And one other item, the applicant already paid for a right-of-way tree that's gonna be removed.
We didn't get a plan on this, did we, to see why they didn't want to put any windows on the right side?
We can ask the applicant. Would you like to ask the applicant?
It's not required for the planning commission application.
Would the applicant please come forward and say your name and address for the record?
Hi, Robin Sterling, 5443 Pawnee Lane. So you're talking about the left elevation? Is that the one?
What was your question?
I think it was the right elevation. The gray areas on the right, are the red up on that plan? What?
But that is to meet your 15% requirements. We went in and modified that to meet the 15%. Our understanding on the left elevation was, I thought it was just that elevation and not every single elevation that is seen on the left elevation. That's why we didn't include additional windows on that.
But I guess on the right, what was the reason behind not providing them initially? Is there nothing over there, or?
There was not enough windows to meet your 15%, so we rearranged and added to what was existing to meet your requirement.
Those red designations, those are windows?
Yes, windows and a door. Right there.
Any other
Like-
questions? Oh, go ahead.
I guess the door is not set back too far. It's hard to tell without a plan where the door is in relationship to the walls. Just-
Talking about the front door?
Yeah. Because it looks like it's set back.
For the
Okay.
front elevation,
Yeah, on the front elevation.
the front elevation has a front porch, which it sits back, I can't remember, 12 feet or something like that from the front steps.
Is the front porch line up with the front, the two projections on the front?
No, it sits back.
Basil, did you see the plan? I mean, is it,
Well,
the front door can't be more than 8 feet
Right there.
behind,
that's right, and,
but you can't tell looking at an elevation.
but it's recessed back. If you look at the left elevation, I mean, you have if you look at the right and the left, I mean, the door is recessed and the entry door. But the building line, you have the rooms at the front, like the double windows, one on top of, or 3 windows, that's out close to the building line, but then the entry is recessed. So they're really not encroaching to the building line.
No, I'm not saying
If
that.
I'm answering your question.
I thought that, well, I don't know, I guess maybe that only applies on garages.
I know what you're talking about. Isn't there's a requirement?
It's only on the garages where you can go up 10 feet or 8 feet out.
So, okay, I mean, you just can't tell. I mean, it looks like those doors are set back.
They are.
But it's the distance from the front entry to the garage.
Yes.
And those two appear to be close to each other in the site plan.
The reason for the garage, I think, is for the side entry garages, where you're allowed to be in front of the entry.
But I mean, you can't tell the relationship of the garage to the entry doors from the elevation either.
Well, there is the site plan, right? So you can kind of see it's not dimensioned.
It's pretty much in line with the garage.
Correct.
Okay.
It's in the same plane as the garage doors, if that's what you're wanting to clarify.
That's where the front door is, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the front door threshold actually comes out a little bit forward of the,
Garage.
not much.
Any other questions for the applicant?
So I guess in terms of the elevations, was the intent to bring the left side up to the correct percentage then?
Yes, in speaking to Basel, we're either going to add onto windows or have the faux windows to make the percentages work. Windows are very expensive, and that's the reason being that it's a garage side. I just don't know if I want to add more windows, but we could put decorative windows there.
I guess my thought is, 14.85%. We've allowed exceptions before for.
Is that what this side is, 14.8?
Yeah, we've allowed exceptions for at least 14, maybe less before. I think, you could round it and it would have been presented as 15 and we wouldn't have questioned it. So that's my thought.
Just clarification about the percentage. I was basing it on, my computer program did not accept the scale, but it was giving me numbers. So when I was calculating, that's the number I came up with.
Which I think that's pretty close to 15 though, right?
That's right.
So I think that's fair.
So, again, I put in the verbiage that they're seeking an exception, so if you allow it, then staff doesn't have any issues with that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll take a shot. Make a motion to approve the new home at 5443 Pawnee Lane with the right elevation modifications as shown in the packet and an exception to the facade requirements for the left elevation.
The window requirement.
Window requirements.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next item of business is item 4, additional business. The next meeting date will be July 31st, 2023.
And as of today, we do not have any applications.
And when is the deadline, the end of the week?
Yes.
Finally slowed down a little bit.
I have a quick question for staff. When they submit for a building permit like this last property, do they provide full plans?
I think she did,
Okay.
but again.
It would help, to Ron's point, to provide like at least a plan elevation so we kind of can orientate ourselves with the elevations that are provided. If that could be,
And I think, again, Kim has been here longer than I am, so I think there's a reason maybe.
So, for those of you that are only requesting electronic, one, we don't post those electronically if they're included. For those of you that get the hard packet, I do, but it's sort of a copyright protection that we're not posting full set of house plans up there for people to just have access to. So all I post is the elevations because really that is all that the code is requiring is the site plan and the exterior. You know, I'm trying to think how I can best, you know, I can deliver just the interior for those of you getting, because we are delivering, some commissioners ask for hard packets and we're delivering the full packet. But she contacted me and she said, I'm still, you know, trying to configure these rooms a little bit.
Yeah.
Do I have to have that
I'm with you.
done? And I said, well, no, you really don't, because that's not what's required on a site plan review.
I think sometimes it's an advantage for them if we see the plan though, because then we can be like, oh, well, you don't want to put a window in that bathroom or, I don't know, or that random
Yeah, we'll make it
closet
easier
where you
to
have a wall. Yeah.
understand.
Then it helps us understand maybe why they're seeking an exception. I don't think in this case she was too stressed about it, but it would be valuable in those cases for us to understand where they're coming from.
Okay. Yeah, I think generally on the other ones, you're getting, those of you getting the hard package, you're getting those, we don't separate them out. They provide it, we put it in the package.
I don't think we got it this time
There's a
though.
site plan.
Not on hers.
Okay,
no.
right, because she hadn't submitted it, right, right, okay, yes.
Is there a way that,
Even the other one, you didn't get a full set because exactly he did not submit a full packet. I mean, just the outside elevations.
Okay.
That's,
So is there, I guess
Yeah,
this is for,
With that plan.
is there like some sort of
I don't think I've ever
thing
done it,
that's
like doing
proprietary
elevations
with
without a
plans
plan.
when they submit them that we can't look at them?
How does that work?
Or post them?
No, you can look at them, but the reason they don't get posted is an open record issue. It's a privacy
Gotcha.
concern, so that
Okay.
people don't know, you know, what the layout of your house
Yeah.
is.
Right, that makes sense. Okay. Is there a way we can just get them like through a secured link or something?
I mean, I don't have a problem emailing it. I do think, in terms of the code, is it just some, I guess the code covers that they request, you know, that they're just gonna want it on new homes or exceptions.
I think email would be fine. The issue would be if you tried to post it as part of the packet online, or,
Yeah, I understand that. I guess what I'm saying is for staff, for the people submitting the application going forward, do I need to put that as a requirement in the code? Because, no, just, okay, you just have to have floor plans.
and there's enough flexibility in the code that you can ask for more information, so.
Okay, all right. I will, going forward, make sure that they have the interior.
Well, maybe it
Just a
doesn't have to be a
plan.
requirement, maybe they're just encouraged, like, you want planning commission to be able to understand this better, it's recommended you provide more detail, because if you don't, then if we're asking a lot of questions, then we're not gonna make a good decision.
And in her defense, she did reach out to me and ask.
And we did approve it, so not to say it can't be approved, but I think just encouraging them to make those submissions. Is that fair?
It just makes it a little more difficult to make a judgment, I mean, of why they didn't want to have windows or where the door is, or, you know. And I'm kind of amazed you can submit a group of elevations without a finished plan, I mean.
Yeah, you know.
Do we have a visitor tonight or a guest, or?
Yes, sorry. This is Lauren Davis. She's one of our summer associates, and she was interested in observing one of these meetings, so thought this would be a good one. I also told her that I estimated approximately 2 hours, so I can't believe you guys ran through that so
This is like the
fast.
fastest meeting for this many applications.
Yeah, we always take wagers, Boz and I, you know, on that. So we both missed the mark on this one.
Goes
All
a
right,
lot faster
anything
when
else?
they meet the requirements.
Yeah, they meet the requirements.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Be a next month meeting.
Show a donation point, like, as a exterior.
It did on this one. Yeah.
Cycles.
Yeah, it
But I
is.
mean, I think it is code to require that it's those on the outside. But you can do like all your other fancy stuff on the inside. None of these have had batteries yet, which is entirely different problem regarding fire.
So what's it do, just go back to the grid if they don't use it?
Wait, those are set up, yeah.
Which
Which
is
is,
pretty rare.
I was looking at it, I was like, that's not how I would want to set it up. Obviously, code required disconnect and all that, but like,
How would you set it up differently?
I would want